Okay, to finish up the KW Cutouts, which could be connected to somebody like Stuart Davis too. Your first cut and flip, which should take the rectangle, and here you can see Jerrison's again. And if I said, hey, look at the rectangle, you can see the rectangle, but the shapes on the edge really steal, they're emphasized, they take the power away from the rectangle. We've got the IndyCar, the MST3K, the biomorphic puddle, and what ended up to be a city. Because it really should be a set of four that are separate. You know, one side, and templates or holding the quarter sheets up to maybe help you cut the same item out, because look, there it is, and it gets more complex. So time passes, time and motion, and this starts to look more like a city. This looks like a weird fire plug here, but wait to see what happens. 3, which means this has been cut 3 times now, this twice, this once. How did he do that? I guess if we're in class, I talk a little bit more about having the 4 sheets, holding them together, and there is trial and error in a chess game, and many people have commented like, well, I had to stumble and didn't know exactly where to go. That's where the start helps, you know. So there's 3, and boo, oh, there's 4. The 4th, there's 4 separate ones, and I think some people are cutting and developing and then photographing it in here, which there's nothing I can do about it on distance ed. But you're really supposed to see the 4 in one shot. So these were the ones that I did where I wouldn't get all the points because I didn't use black, and I didn't necessarily cut and flip, but since I'd done this for a while, I cut, and instead of flipping, I slid front half, so it still moves to the right. And you can see my drawing. I needed to draw to help myself, and to get this, where is it? This to match this, I figured out that if I took my quarter sheets and laid them together and cut, you know, I'd need 4 of you and then 2 of the back end. So I started working front and back end. So it went from the front end sliding over to a back end that fit but didn't quite fit. And that almost looks like a unicorn, doesn't it? Unicorn cat. So these levels of representation or abstraction. And I'd been dealing with these cats that had beards or Fu Manchus. So I gave them eyes, and then just the 2 eyes slid over. So it's not symmetrical. It's more of the translation. So there's some math. But I think the magic of the shape, and we were working with complementary colors to kind of emphasize that last spring. Black and white's more powerful. I had these neon sheets of copy paper at home, so I thought I'd try that, and this was the finish, the cut out, and I think I did it with scissors. I just came in here, cut that out, and then pulled it and stuck it down. So if I looked or felt, maybe I did do it with X-Acto knife, because I did that last spring. But it really should read as a series, and I did not have that put in on the PowerPoint. So I think some people just cut and they kept building one to have one thing. So the time and motion does show up if you document it, but it really should show up because you can see the whole series. So, you know, like in class, if we're up at school, we would put our series in the hall, and then it's like, holy cow, if it's something really complex or something simple, if it's text, whatever it is, if you've got the bold high contrast and you work the time and motion in, it happens. And whether you flip or slide, I mean, it should be stuck down on the 11 by 14. And this is wide. Why did Mr. Leonard go wide on tall? Well, that's another design consideration. Even deeper on the bottom. Taller is more powerful than wide, you know, and so there's some subtleties and nuances that maybe we miss a little bit, at home, even the way I'm recording this. I don't know by the time it goes if anybody's going to watch it. I hope they do, because I think there were some gaps. I mean, there was some really good stuff, but there were some gaps. On the final 4+1, do I have one? Do I have one? Do I have one? On the final 4+1, of which this is 4+1 PowerPoint. Which way does it go? Ooh, I see primary colors. On that one, I've put in some restrictions that are going to help you with your artist statement. And we're doing the artist statement a little bit different than what a general artist statement is, because this class is about engaging the eye. This is all about, well, since I shifted from black, it's all about color. And it really is about movement, motion over time. I wanted to make the cats dance. Cats is the subject matter. Dancing is the movement. How did I do that? With high contrast, with simplified shapes, but you know, I wanted that leg to kind of kick up. And yes, I had to play with it. And if you look closely, especially from 1 to 2, you'll see some of my sketches and the trial and errors that could be cleaned up. If I'm photographing it, I'll want it squared up, shot. I wouldn't want that thing. And I've got diffuse light. I don't have the overhead light on, so you're not getting a shadow. And then I could shoot it and crop it and clean it up. But for this to work well, and I can't tell now, it's a little late, you submitted it, but there really should be 4 working across. Once upon a time, you know, the magic of the sketchbook, you could leave everything there and not get lost. But I think pulling it out, the cat fell over. I think the cat is dancing. Pulling it out and setting it up, you guys are doing fine. I just wanted to point that out because, well, if you submitted it, some folks I said resubmit it. Next time, if we do that distanced, I'm not going to have people submit a video, but they'd have to have the panorama of 1 through 4, or maybe 1 through 3 could work, but 4 is a nice even number. That's it.